Hello everyone, and today I'm going to be recording one of my first YouTube videos. It is going to be ranking Jojo's Bizarre Adventure characters. So without further ado, let's get started. So the Aphex twins. I like their fight, but apart from that, they're not really characters, so I can't really put them any higher than C. I forget how you pronounce this character's last name, so I usually just call him Aisho. I'll put him in B. I like him. I like his stand. His fight's really interesting. I like the way he dies. How Tsurugi makes a bus look like Jobin, and then it just runs him over because he's standing in the middle of the street. So yeah, he's cool. Akira. I like Akira a lot. I like his fight. He's a really cool guy. I like that he's like a rock star. I really like the scene where Josuke breaks his finger and then he like strums his guitar to like fix his broken finger. Which I don't know how that works, but it's JoJo's. They can do whatever they want. Alessi. So, a lot of people gripe about the Alessi fight, but I actually like it. I think Alessi's really funny. I like how he's like this big, like, intimidating character, but he's like a huge coward too. I think that's really funny. His stand is really interesting. Any stands that like age people or de-age people get like, I don't know. I just really like stands like that, powers like that. Andre Boom Boom. A lot of people gripe about it, but I actually really like the Tomb of the Boom arc. I think it's really interesting. Even though it is like one of the weaker arcs in a Steel Ball run, it still is very interesting. I may put all of the Boom Booms in C. Angelo. It's kind of interesting how like Josuke fights one of the like most evil characters in Diamond is Unbreakable first. I'll put him in A. I like that fight. Part 4 has a lot of really good fights. Part 4 and Part 6 have a lot of my favorite fights. I was gonna say this is Anasui, but it's not. It's Anarchist, which is alternate universe Anasui. I really wish we knew what happened in the new universe that Pucci created, because we really don't know. We see at the end that like they're driving around in Emporio and the other Hermes, and then the alternate weather report, but that's pretty much it. We don't really know anything else, and I really wish we did. Although it's really fun for fan interpretation. Anne's interesting. I think she's really funny. How she like follows the Crusaders around, and like she has a crush on Jotaro. I think I'll move her to B. She's overall entertaining. Anubis. He's interesting. I think it's interesting that he's a stand that's like passed from user to user, so he really has no user. And he kind of works the same way that like Cheap Trick or the Milagro Man in Part 8 works, is it gets passed from user to user. And I like how he's sentient, he has a personality, and I like how freaked out he gets. I think that's really interesting. Arabia Fats. This guy only shows up in one panel, so I don't think he really qualifies as a character. So I'll put him in D. Axel Rowe. He's fine. I like the fact that he's a soldier is really interesting. And how, like, his stand works on the basis of guilt, so, like, it'll bring forth anything you're guilty about. It's almost like the lock, almost. So yeah, I'll put him in B. Aya. Aya's great. I really like her. I don't know if I like her enough to put her in A. I'll leave her in A for now. Yeah, Aya's great. I really like how she helped Yukiko and Koichi. And I did feel really bad when she ended up getting blown up by Kira after Kira switches his identity. Benjamin Boom Boom. I'll put all of the Boom Booms in C. Blackmore. I like Blackmore a lot. I think his stand is really interesting. I like that he's like one of Funny Valentine's top guards. And I wish he wasn't killed by Mountain Tim, because he would have been really interesting to have around. Boingo! I really like the Oingo Boingo episodes. Those are some of the funniest things. Him, like the first episode he's in with his brother, and then the episode he's with Whole Horse is really interesting. Bruford. You guys want to hear my weird theory that Bruford and Yukiko are related to each other? He's fine. Not my favorite Part 1 character. I remember a little bit about him. I liked how he gives Jonathan the sort of looking flip and then dies. He's not around for a very long time, so I'll put him in C. Bruno. I like Bruno a lot. Even though for a really long time before I started watching Jojo, I thought Bruno was a woman. And then I heard what his like English dubbed voice sounded like, and I was like, oh, that's not a woman's voice. But yeah, he's really great. He's a good character. I might make a video about Bruno at some point because I really, really like Bruno. Caesar. He's fine. This. Do I put him in B or do I put him in C? Because I don't really like him a lot. He might be my least favorite Zeppeli. I'll put him in B. Like, don't hate me. But Part 2 bores the crap out of me. Like, I don't know why, but every single time I try to go back and watch Part 2, I usually space out and forget about it. Pretty much the only things I remember of Part 2 are the Joseph versus Wamu fight, Cars getting sent into space, Caesar dying, and then Joseph and Susie Q get married, and that's pretty much it. Cameo. I like Judgment. Judgment, I think, is a good stand. But Cameo's not really there for a long time, because, he's hiding underground. I thought it was really funny when, Polnareff and Abdul finally find where he's hiding, and then they pee in his little breathing hole. I think that's really funny. But apart from that, he's not really there. If I were doing a tier list of stands, I would put Judgment in, B, but the user's not really that interesting to me. Captain Tindyle, I think is how you pronounce this guy's name. I really like that episode. I really like how Jotaro makes up an elaborate lie to trick him into revealing that he's the stand user of Dark Blue Moon. Vitamin C. Karn. Someone has to love the ugly characters, and that somebody is going to be me. I'll put him in C. He's fine. Gets killed almost immediately, but I like the idea of a stand working after death. It's also really, I can imagine him having that conversation, being like, what does your stand do? Oh, my stand's notorious big, but I have to die in order for it to actually do anything. He's great. Shaka. This is one of Anubis' holders. He's not really a character, so I gotta put him in D. Chocolata. Boy, am I torn on Chocolata. I don't know how I feel about him. Because there's sometimes I really like him, and there's sometimes where I don't. I feel like I'm kind of neutral on Chocolata. Like, I don't love him like some people do, but I don't hate him either. Kind of rub 50-50, kind of right in the middle. Coco Jumbo. So, I'm trying to convince one of my coworkers to watch Jojo. He said he was going to do it, he just hasn't yet. And when I told him about Coco Jumbo, he thought it was hilarious. And it is. The whole concept of an animal stand user is hilarious. Like a turtle stand user. So he'll go and be Daya. I like Daya. I think she's really interesting. I like her little crush she has on Josuke. I think that's really, really funny. Her stand is really good too. We don't really see a lot of California King Bed after the initial fight. But I like Daya. I don't know if I like her enough to put her in B. I'll put her in C for now. I may move her later. D and G, this is Yo-Yo Ma's stand user. We don't really know a whole lot about him because he's unconscious for a lot of the Yo-Yo Ma fight. I do like Yo-Yo Ma, but his stand user has like no personality, so I gotta put him in D. Darby. Daniel Darby. I went back and rewatched Stardust Crusaders recently, and I really, really enjoyed the two Darby episodes. I think I like Daniel Darby more than I do Terrence Darby. Yeah, put him in A. Those episodes were really entertaining to me. Like, those two episodes and then the Marilyn Manson fight in Stone Ocean are some of my favorite fights because I love gambling fights. Dario Brando. It is kind of interesting how, like, this, like, drunkard is responsible for getting the universe reset because he kind of drove Dio to do the things he did. Interesting. Devo the Cursed. I don't remember a whole lot about his fight. A lot of the earlier fights in Stardust Crusaders, I don't really remember. Isn't he the one that has Ebony Devil? I don't remember what Ebony Devil does. I'll put him in C. I remember it a little bit. I don't remember a lot. Diavolo. If I were anime only, I wouldn't be making this list, but if I were anime only, Diavolo would be my favorite villain. But he's not my favorite villain, but he's like my second favorite villain. Yeah, he's great. I like the idea of, like, wanting to remain hidden. And, like, I think the idea that, like, he wants to have full anonymity, so he goes after the one person who could compromise that, which is Trish. So yeah, he's interesting. Diego. Diego is one of my favorite Steel Ball Run characters. He's not my all-time favorite Steel Ball Run character, but he's up there. I like how, despite being alternate universe Dio, he's not, like, completely bad. Like, he's bad at first, but I think about, like, halfway through, he starts to realize that what he's doing might not be right. It's also really sad how he dies, how he thinks he pulled Funny Valentine out of the train, and it turns out he didn't, but in his, like, delirium, he thinks he did. Also getting cut in half. That's a brutal way to go out. Put him in A. Dio. What to say about Dio? I personally, here's my opinion, I think Dio is overrated. Now, that doesn't mean he's a bad character. I just think that, like, there are better villains than Dio. I know Dio is, like, the most iconic. Because you can't really have JoJo's without Dio, because Dio's the one who kind of gets the ball rolling and starts the events. I'll put him in B. He's not my favorite villain. I feel I'm kind of neutral on Dio. I don't know if I like him or not. Dire. I don't remember a whole lot about Dire. The kind of the middle of Phantom Blood, like the events that happen between between meeting Zeppeli and then defeating Dio are kind of a blur. I don't remember a whole lot. I think part of it has to do with the fact that things are kind of rushed because part 1 is only 9 episodes long. Disco. For a guy who doesn't have very much of a parent personality, I really like him. I like how he shows up and he's like, hey, I'm Disco, I'm gonna beat you up, and then he just starts fighting everybody. I am still unclear about what his stand actually does. So I'll put him in B. Dolomite. I like Blue Hawaii. Blue Hawaii is a good stand. But Dolomite doesn't really have a whole lot going for him. Because he doesn't have a lot of personality. He's almost like animal-esque. I like how Jobin uses fried chicken to, like, lure him out. I mean, that would work on me if I were completely honest. Donatello Versus, or Donatello Versace, depends on what you like. He's fine. I really like Dio's sons, like the ones from Stone Ocean. Because I feel like the Jojo fandom is like 50-50 on Dio's kids. Some people absolutely adore them, and then some people like ignore that they exist. But he's fine. I like Underground or Underworld. Is it called Underworld? I think it's called Underworld. Some people call it Underground, but I don't know if that's the actual name. I'll have to check. Donovan. This is the guy that fights Joseph right before he goes to beat Santana. I don't remember anything about that fight. Doppio. So Doppio gets S tier for being the character that made me want to watch JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I saw one piece of fan art. No, it wasn't fan art. It was a cosplay. I saw one person cosplaying Doppio, and I was like, I have to know more. I need to know more about this character. And I just like this idea of, like, this little, seemingly innocent guy going crazy and, like, scooping out people's eyeballs and imagining that, like, bones are bleeding everywhere. I think that's interesting. This is Do Re Mi Fa Sol La Ti Do. This is Urban Gorilla's Rock Pit. I like how he counts as a character. He's fine. I'll put him in C. I like how he acts as like a form of transportation for Urban Gorilla, and he's like virtually indestructible because he's a rock. Dr. Ferdinand. So, a common misconception that people have is Dr. Ferdinand is, or Scary Monsters is Dr. Ferdinand's stand. The only reason that Diego was able to keep it was because of the corpse part. Diego's stand is the world. It was just dormant, which is why the alternate Diego has the world. I'll put him in B. He's fine. Steel Ball Run has a lot of my favorite minor antagonists. Steel Ball Run and Stone Ocean, I think, have a lot of my favorite minor antagonists. The 11 Men. What? I don't remember anything about the 11 Men. Was that during the Sugar Mountain arc? I do believe it was. I don't really remember anything. which means I should probably go back and reread Stillwell Run, even though I've read it twice. I think that fight just bored me, so I kind of tuned it out. So yeah, I'll put him in D. Emporio. I actually like Emporio a lot. I think it's interesting that he's the one who survives the universe reset, and he has to like live with that knowledge for the rest of his life. I also think it's great that he's the one who ended up killing Poochie. Like, you have the power of like to fast forward time, and you get taken out by an 11-year-old kid. Yeah, Emporio's great. I also like that he has Weather Report, like the Stand, because he had Weather's disc, and then the universe reset, so it's like he still has it since now. Poochie. I didn't think a whole lot of Poochie when I first read Stone Ocean, but he kind of grew on me after a little while. If I were making this list right after I read Stone Ocean, he would be like C. But I've grown to like him a little bit more, so I'll put him in B. Enya. It is interesting how this, like, crazy old lady... I feel bad calling her crazy, but she kind of is. This crazy old lady ends up playing, like, such a huge role because she's the one who bought up all the stand arrows and then, like, sold them to Diavolo. So, like, I don't know. She's great. Her fight, like, when she's fighting Polnareff in, like, the Justice arc, is very interesting. She's really funny in that fight. Erina. Here's the true hero of JoJo's. I like Erina a lot. I like her more in part 2 than I do part 1. How she, like... I don't know. She's not really there in part 1. And then in part 2, she's there a lot. Which I think adds to her being really good. So I don't know. She's great. Hermes. I like Hermes a lot. She's like my second favorite Stone Ocean character. She's fine. I like the idea that she constantly, purposefully gets herself arrested to track down Sportsmax who killed her sister. I think that's interesting. I also like how she's a little bit of a tomboy. A little bit rough. And I like how vulgar she is. That's the thing about Stone Ocean, is that a lot of characters in Stone Ocean are not afraid to be vulgar. Because, again, they are in a prison. AC/DC. He's not my favorite Pillar Man. I remember his fight with Joseph a little bit. But not a whole lot. So I'll put him in C. Foo Fighters. Foo Fighters is awesome. I was going to put her in S tier, but I don't like her as much as I do my favorite Stone Ocean character, which we'll get to eventually. But she's fine. I like the idea that she's like a stand embodying a human body. Like, she's like Anubis in a way, that she's like sentience. But whereas Anubis possesses a sword, Foo Fighters possesses like a human body. So yeah, she's cool. I hated the fact that she died so early on. And people always say, oh, why isn't Foo Fighters in the new universe, the Ireneverse? Because Foo Fighters was created by Poochie, and in the Ireneverse, Poochie doesn't exist, therefore Foo Fighters doesn't exist. Forever. I hate the Forever episode. I do. I hate it. It's so freaky. Like, anytime I go back and rewatch Stardust Crusaders, I almost always skip the monkey. Because I hate it so much. It's so freaky. For Maggio. He's not my favorite, but he's alright. I do like his fight with Narancia. And I like how he, like, when Aerosmith sets him on fire, he, like, cuts his wrist and then shrinks himself to put out the fire. I think that's interesting. But beyond that, I don't really think much about him. He's one of those La Squadra members that I sometimes forget about. Yeah, I'll put him in B. Oh, man. Funny Valentine. Do I like Funny Valentine enough to put him in an S? Yeah, I think I do. Funny Valentine's great. He's probably one of my favorite villains in anything, really. Yeah. He's great. I like his whole ambition. How, like, he's incredibly smart. My only qualms with him is that he killed Gyro, but what are you gonna do? This is George Joestar the First. I don't really like how he, like, turns on Jonathan, his own son. I don't know. I do like how he, like, saw through Dio at the end. This is George Joestar II from Battle Tendency. We don't really see a whole lot about him. We know a little bit, but he's not really a relevant character. At least I don't think. I'll put him in D. George Joestar I from Steel Ball Ring. I actually like him. Not enough to put him in B, but I like him. He's fine. I hate how he blamed Johnny for Nicholas's death, even though he was behaving like any parent would. But I do like how at the end he shows up at the race to cheer on his Johnny as he crosses the finish line. I think that's really nice. Guccio. I like Guccio a lot. I think he's interesting. I like the White Album fight. I like how he's angry all the time. And his Japanese voice actor is Bakugo from My Hero Academia, which is really fitting because they're both kind of the same character, mad all the time. I feel like all of the characters that voice actor voices are like really mad characters, which is weird because I've heard like the voice actor in real life is really nice, but his characters he voices are just mad all the time. Giorno. I'm kind of neutral on Giorno. I don't like him, like he's not my favorite JoJo. But he's not my least favorite either. He kind of falls halfway in between. I feel like in part 5, the side characters, like, are better protagonists than Giorno is. Like, I feel like Bruno is more of a protagonist than Giorno is. I'll leave him in B for now. This is Hermes' sister. Isn't her name Gloria? Not really a character. She kind of, acts as a motivator for Hermes. Greyfly, I think is this guy's name. See. I do like the Greyfly fight, and I think that his, like, attempt at faking that he's the stand user is really funny. Gregorio Zeppeli, this is Gyro's father. Put him in D. Don't really think a whole lot about him. Again, one of the characters that serves as, like, a motivator. Guccio. For a character that's so minor, you don't really see a lot about him. I find this guy really funny. I like the scene that when Poochie is like making him sing Hallelujah. It's very interesting. Mista! I like Mista a lot. Put him in A. Mista Mista has a lot of the funniest scenes. I like his dynamic with Trish. I guess the scene that made me love him was when Giorno and him are going after Sale, and Mista stops to have lunch, and Gyro's like, but there's a guy we're supposed to be chasing, and Mista's like, yeah, but it's lunchtime. Mista's great. I like the scene when he and Trish swap bodies, and then Mista like freaks out because he realizes, oh, I'm in a woman's body. What do I do? He like panics. So great. Gwess. Again, I like her. I wish she had shown up more because we don't really see her a whole lot apart from like the very first chapters and then the jailhouse lock fight, and then she kind of disappears after that. I think her shrinking ability is better than Formaggio's because like it's instantaneous versus Formaggio's is like gradual. Gyro goes in S tier. I love Gyro so much. I don't know if he's my favorite Jobro, but he is definitely my favorite Zeppeli. So yeah, he's great. I like how, like, with the other Zeppelis, like Caesar and Will, they don't show up until about, like, halfway through the part. But Gyro's there kind of from the beginning. So he, gets a little bit more screen time, which I think is why a lot of people like Gyro more than they like the other Zeppelis. Hato. I like Hato during the Vitamin C arc. But beyond that, she's not really there a whole lot. So I'd put her in C. That's the thing with the Higashikata family. Except for, like, Norisuke and Jobin, we don't really see a whole lot of the other, members of the Higashikata family. Hiyato. I like the idea of, like, this non-stand user being the person who ends up taking down, Kira, because he finds out the secret to Bites the Dust and, like, works his way around it. And then, like, you feel kind of bad for him at the end of part 2 because his dad is just dead. And then his mom doesn't know what happened. And Hiyato knows what happened, but he can't really tell her. Because he's a little kid. Little kids make things up all the time. There's no way that Shinobu would believe him. Whole Horse. I know Whole Horse is like a fan favorite. But he's about a B for me. I like his episode with Oingo. But beyond that, I don't really think a whole lot about him. Okay. Holly Joestar Kira. B tier. I think it's kind of interesting. Well, do I put her in B or do I put her in C? Put her in C. It's kind of interesting how her character plays such a big part in the overall story. And about how, like, she's Kira's mother and, by extension, Josuke's mother, because Kira is part of Josuke. It's very weird how the characters in JoJolion line up. I'm not even 100% sure if I know exactly how they line up. Holly Kujo. I like her relationship with Jotaro. But we don't really see her outside of part 3, which is sad. But, yeah, she's fine. Hot Pants. So, I'll put her in A. I didn't really think a whole lot of Hot Pants the first time I saw her. But as I was reading the story, she kind of grew on me. I do like how she's introduced, though. How she's like, she accuses Johnny and Gyro of eating her cow. And so she, like, threatens to hang them from a tree. So yeah, Hot Pants is fine. I like the idea that she's a nun. And she's doing the race and getting the corpse cards as a way of, like, repentance for killing her brother. Iggy! I like Iggy. Definitely my favorite animal character. Iggy's fine. I like the idea that, well, I wouldn't say he's the first animal stand user, because we did get this, but we don't like to talk about the orangutan, so Iggy's fine. I also like how Iggy, like, his voice is not clips of dogs barking. He actually has a voice actor, and his voice actor is apparently Toga from My Hero Academia, which I didn't know until after I watched Stardust Crusaders. Illuso. I like Illuso. Not as much as I like Gyatso, but I do like the Man in the Mirror fight. I also like, he, like, taunts Fugo a lot, and he taunts Tabakio a lot. He didn't deserve to die the way he did, though. Like, getting melted by Purple Haze's virus, that's gotta suck. That's gotta hurt so bad. Irene. Again, really wish we knew what happened afterwards, after Stone Ocean ended. Although it is good for fan speculation. J-Guile. I do like the Hangman, but I oftentimes forget about J-Guile. I do think it's kind of cringy when they, like, show his hands in the anime and he has 2 right hands. That, like, makes me, like, cringe. Cringe and, like, that hurt feeling you get in your feet when you see something gross. Because it is gross. Jack the Ripper. He gets pushed up a little bit for being based on, like, real events that happen. But apart from that, we don't really see a whole lot of him. He just gets, like, turned into a vampire by Dio. And then dies. Put him in C. Polnareff. So I'll be honest, when I first saw Stardust Crusaders, I didn't really think a whole lot about Polnareff. But he kind of grew on me after a little bit, especially in part 5, when he shows back up. And he, like, helps Giorno, take down the boss. I also like that he's kind of goofy, but, like, he can be really serious. That's what I like in characters, how, like, they're, like, characters like Foo Fighters, who are, like, silly at moments, but, like, can get really, really serious really easily. Like, I feel like Polnareff, and then Mista, and then Foo Fighters are all like that. So yeah, he's great. Jobin. I think Jobin's really funny. I also, like, some people, like, Jobin's in the running for being the villain of JoJolion, but I actually don't think he's the villain. I think Toru's the villain, but we'll get to that in a minute. But Jobin is okay. I like his weird obsession with beetles. And I like the beetle fight. That chapter is really interesting to me for some reason. So yeah. Put him in B. John Golly, A. So, apparently John Golly A is blind, which I guess I did not get the first time I read Stone Ocean. But then, I was watching a read along of Stone Ocean, and they brought up the fact that he was blind, and I was like, wait, really? Did I miss that? Yeah, he's fine. Again, doesn't really have much of a personality. Don't really see a whole lot of him because he gets killed. Vitamin C. Johnny. Johnny is my favorite Jojo. Which I think is part of what makes Steel Ball Run my favorite part, is because Johnny is my favorite Jojo. I like how he starts as, like, this cynical, like, sarcastic guy, and then, like, starts actually... I feel bad for saying this. Starts actually having feelings. Which is great, because I love watching characters grow like that. And, I love the ending, of Steel Ball Run, where he, like, has enough respect for Gyro to take his body back to his family instead of leaving him there. I also think it's really funny how he ends up dying. Like, you ever take down the president of the United States, but then get killed by a giant boulder? Come on, he could have used Tusk to stop that boulder. Jolene. Jolene and Giorno kind of get the same treatment, where I'm kind of like, neutral on her. I don't, like, hate her. Like, some people hate her. I'm kind of neutral. Yeah, she's fine. I don't know what to say about Jolene. Again, Jolene is another, example of, I think, there are side characters that could make better protagonists than, Jolene, like Hermes, Foo Fighters, Anasui, wherever he is. He's down there. I see him. Yeah, he's fine. Is this Joseph, or is this is... No, this is Joseph. So this is Jonathan. I like Jonathan a lot. I know not a lot of people have strong feelings about Jonathan. Or people skip part 1, which I don't know why you would want to skip part 1, because that establishes the overarching story, but whatever. He's fine. I like how Jonathan is like a good person. Like, Jotaro would permanently, like... Jotaro would, like, chain somebody up to a rock, or, like, pummel somebody, and then Josuke would, like, permanently fuse somebody with a rock or a book. But Jonathan would never do anything like that. To my knowledge, he didn't, like, kill anyone unless he felt like he had to. So yeah, Jonathan's great. Josephumi Kujo. He's fine. That whole arc of, like, the events that led up to him and Kira fusing and becoming Gappy, I think is really interesting. But apart from that, I don't really think a whole lot about Josephumi. Joseph. I like Joseph a lot. Joseph is one of those characters that gets better as the story progresses. Like, he's good in part 3, or part 2, and then I think my favorite Joseph is in part 3. When he becomes, like, that mentor figure. And then in part 4, he's, like, just this old man. Although I do like the episodes regarding the invisible baby. I think those are really funny. Joshu. What to say about Joshu? There's sometimes I like Joshu and sometimes I don't. Like, man, I don't know. I guess I'll put him in C. Because I do really like the Milagro Man arc. I think that's really funny. Josuke. I like Josuke. I think it's really interesting how part 4 has, like, that slice of life feel to it, where, like, one day they're fighting a big bad villain, and then the next day they're, like, he's, like, swindling a kid out of his money, or buying a new pair of shoes. Like, he's he's the protagonist, but he's also a teenager. So he's doing, like, typical teenager stuff. Which I think gives part 4 that kind of charm that it has. Jotaro. Jotaro is another character that gets better as the series ages. Because I liked him in part 3. I liked him in part 4 when he's like a mentor. Although he's not really around for very much in part 4. He's kind of doing his own thing. Part 5, he's not really there. And then part 6 is when he really gets good, in my opinion. Like, a lot of people gripe about Jotaro in part 6, but you have to understand, he gave up the universe for Jolene, his daughter, and then it ended up being in vain because she died anyway. But a lot of people don't realize that Jotaro is a good father. He went away from the family because he didn't want Jolene to be, like, dragged into his life because it's dangerous. He wanted to protect her. A lot of people don't realize that. Gappy. I was actually surprised when I found that I liked Gappy more than I thought I was going to. Or I want to move one of these. I think I'll move Joseph down a little bit. Nah, he can stay. He can stay in A. Yeah, I was surprised to learn that I liked Gappy as much as I did. Because before I put off reading JoJolion for so long because I wasn't sure if I wanted to or if I wanted to wait until it was done. So I only know a little bit about Gappy. Like, I knew what his stand did, and I knew, like, a little bit about him, but I didn't know everything. But Gappy's great. I like how he's, like, goofy, but he's not afraid to, like, do extreme things to protect the people that he cares about. I like his relationship with Yasuho. I think that's really funny. Kato. Kato's funny. I don't know if I like her as much as I like any other characters. I'll put an A, so I'll put her in B. The chapter where she's introduced is really funny. How she's like, "Hey, my beautiful, adoring family, I've been in prison for 15 years and I'm finally out. I'm so happy to see you." And then her family is like, I don't want anything to do with you. So yeah. Kato's great. That whole chapter is really funny. Kakyoin. Kakyoin, I feel like, doesn't get the credit he deserves for being the person that, like, discovered or, like, figured out the secret to Dio Stan. And I really wish he hadn't died because I really enjoy, like, fan works people make of, like, part 4 Kakyoin or part 6 Kakyoin. One of my favorite episodes are of part 3 is the Death 13 episodes, where he's like, "Hey guys, something's wrong. This baby is attacking me in my sleep," and then everyone's like, "You're crazy. That's not happening." And then it turns out at the end, like, Kakyoin was right, but he's like the only one who remembered what happened. Carrera. I don't really think about Carrera. I really wish she would come back because we only ever see her during the Love Love Deluxe episodes in the Aphex Twin fight. But other than that, don't really see a lot from her. Yeah, because she can see Cars. I don't think I have a lot to say about Cars. I do think he's really interesting, but again, not my favorite Pillarman. His hair is amazing, though. Like, if I could have hair like that, don't you think I would? But I could never grow hair like that. Keicho. I really wish Keicho wasn't killed immediately. Because I would have liked to know more about him. Even though he was, like, killed to further Okuyasu's character development. I wish he wasn't killed immediately. Because he would have been so useful during the final battle against Kira. But anyway, I'll put him in B. This is the rock, paper, scissors kid. His name's Ken, I think. I really enjoy the rock, paper, scissors episode. How, like, he approaches Rohan and he's like, wanna play rock, paper, scissors? And Rohan's like, no, get away from me, kid, I don't want to. And then, like, he finally wears Rohan down to the point to where Rohan says, sure, I'll play rock, paper, scissors with you. And then, at some point, Rohan punches him, punches him in the face. And then, like, at the end of the fight, when he loses, he, like, jumps into the middle of the street. He's so dramatic, and for what? So he's fine. Kenny G. Don't remember anything about him. Kenzo. Dragon's Dream. That whole arc confuses me. I do like the fact that he's a cult leader, and I feel like his cult, I think, is based on Heaven's Gate. But, again, I don't like the Dragon's Dream arc just because it's so confusing. Like, I did not know what was going on at all during that arc. Con. This is, Anubis' other holder. Vitamin D. Koichi! I like Koichi a lot. I like his progression, throughout the series, how he is not confident at first, but then he grows his confidence. I also really like, Echoes. I think that stand is great. I also like how he came back for part 5. How, out of everyone, Jotaro trusted Koichi enough to, go to Italy and investigate this kid. So yeah, he's great. Put him in A. Kyo. I think she's interesting. I really wish she didn't disappear. Because I think she's great. Born This Way is a great stand. I also like the fact that she's Kira's sister, and then by extension, Gappy's sister. And she's also Okuyasu and Jotaro. It's really weird how the, like, alternate universe counterparts in JoJolion work. Like, it's really easy for, Steele While Run, because we know Johnny is Jonathan, Lucy is Erina, but then, like, in JoJolion, they start getting really weird. LA Boom Boom. Boom there. I like how freaked out he is. Like, I also, for a long time, until like halfway through the arc, I thought LA was a woman. Which, I mean, is not hard, because he does look like a woman. I don't think the eyeliner is helping anything. Lang Wrangler. So, here's my problem with Lang Wrangler. For a long time, like, before they showed his actual stand, I thought the thing he was wearing on his, like, the suit he was wearing was his stand, because, I mean, it looks like it could be. But no, his stand is like a punchy ghost, and then what he's wearing is just his prison uniform. Put him in C. I do like the Jumpin' Jack Flash fight. But because I'm mad about the whole suit thing, he gets C. I really wish Araki had done more suit stands, because really the only two I can think of are, White Album and then Oasis. And, that's pretty much it. Leaky Eye Luca. For a character that's killed almost immediately, I actually really like Leaky Eye Luca. I like how he beats on everybody with a shovel. I know he was, like, created to, like, start the conversation of Giorno being Dio's son. But apart from that, he's, like, not really that important of a character, but I really, really like him for some reason. Abakio. So, this is what's going to make me different from other tier lists. I'm putting Abakio in A. Because Abakio is my favorite character in Part 5. You remember when he tricked Giorno into drinking his pee? I also... His power is really great, and I feel like it doesn't get the credit it deserves, considering without Moody Blues, I don't think they would have been able to find out anything that they found out. He also, like Kakyoin, he doesn't get the credit for being the person who found the biggest clue into defeating the boss. And his death is really, really sad. And the scene afterwards is even sadder, where he's, like, in the afterlife and he's talking to his, old police partner who died. Abakio is a great character, and I feel like he doesn't get the credit he deserves. Lisa. She's fine. Put her in B. Not my favorite Part 2 character, but she's good. I like the scene where Cars, like, grabs her leg and, like, strums it like a guitar. I also think the fact that she's Joseph's mother is very interesting. But apart from that, I don't really think a whole lot about her. Loco Barocco. He's funny. I like his little, like, alligator puppet. And just how goofy he is. But apart from that, doesn't really have any relevance to the plot. Just kind of there. Shows up for like 2 chapters. We don't see him again. Logins. Don't remember. Was he the one that AC/DC killed, or was that Messina? I can't remember. Lucy Steele. I like Lucy a lot. It's another one of those instances, kind of like Hiyato, where she's a non-stand user who gets wrapped up in stand business. I also like her relationship with Steven. Is very, very sweet. Put her in A. Magent. This guy's really funny to me, and I don't know why. His personality is very interesting. His stand is really interesting. His death is really interesting. How he gets like a Cars-like death where he gets like trapped in the bottom of the ocean. I guess he could just undo 20th Century Boy and like die, but like I feel like that would be more painful than like just sitting at the bottom of the ocean for the rest of your life. And if we assume that he didn't undo 20th Century Boy, he's still under the ocean in Part 8. Because I don't think he ages when he's in 20th Century Boy either. Cause I think he's completely indestructible and can't die. I could be wrong though, but I'm pretty sure. Manish Boy. Put him in B. Again, really like the Death 13 episodes. Marco. This is the kid that Gyro had to was gonna have to execute. Put him there. Mariah. I'll put her in B. I enjoy the Best Dead episodes. The Magnetized. That episode's really funny. I almost, like, died laughing during that episode. I think that's what sets Part 3 apart from all the other parts, is that there is a lot of comedic episodes. Part 4 has some comedic episodes too, but I don't think as many as Part 3 does. Mario Zuccaro. For being the first person the group fights in Part 5, it's really entertaining. I like Soft Machine is a really good stand. And I like how Bruno zips his head off, and then the rest of them like torture him. The torture dance scene. God, that is such a great scene. Mario Zeppeli. No relevance to the plot. Mark. Don't remember who this is. Part 2. I don't know what it is about part 2, but I don't really remember a lot of part 2. Wasn't he killed by AC/DC? He was killed by one of the Pillar Men. I can't remember which one. Masazo. Really comedic. How, like, he goes to such great lengths to hide his back, and then Rohan is like, but I want to see. And then Rohan sees his back, and then he dies, and then Rohan gets Cheap Trick put on him. Like, you shouldn't have done that, Rohan. Malone, eh? It's weird. He's a weirdo. I like all the members of Bliss Squadra, but Malone is something else. I really wish they would have kept his manga colorings for the anime and like left his hair as blonde instead of making it purple. Because I do like the blonde hair. Well, I like the purple hair too, but I think I like the blonde hair more. Messina. Don't remember anything. Midler. I do like High Priestess. And I really wish we had seen more of Midler because we don't really see her in the anime. Like, she's there for one panel and she's knocked out, so we don't even see her face. And then we get a picture in Heritage to the Future, but that's pretty much it. Also, I so badly want to play Heritage to the Future, but I don't know where you can get it. Mike O. I like Tubular Bells. I like Mike O. I want to know what that pink stuff is on his face. Is it a scar? Is it a birthmark? Is it a tattoo? Why is it there? Did he put it there? Or has it just been there when he's born? What does it do? Is it for decoration? I don't know. Mikitaka. I like Mikitaka. He's really funny. I just want to say that I am on the Mikitaka is an alien train. He is an alien. I will fight anyone who says anything otherwise. He's an alien. I'm putting my foot down, okay? But yeah, he's fine. Again, really like his episode. Really like him in the Superfly episodes, too. I think he's great. I think it's kind of nice that we don't have an answer as to whether he's an alien or not. He is an alien, I believe that. But, I don't know. He's just really funny. He was, like, one of my first favorite JoJo characters. Mira Shawn. Again, gambling. Put her in A. I thoroughly enjoy the Marilyn Manson fight. Mitsuba. I don't really have a lot to say about Mitsuba because she just recently started becoming relevant in the anime. Or not the anime, the manga. But she's fine. Miusha. Put her in B. I like Jailhouse Luck. I like how she poses as a prisoner, but it's eventually revealed that she's like the head warden. I think she's great. Jailhouse Luck is a very interesting fight. It's one of my favorites. Mountain Tim. Mountain Tim is not a character I think about a lot. I'll be completely honest. Mr. Nihimura. I do think his backstory is really interesting. How, like, he's, like, a follower of Dio who got the cells planted in his head, and then, like, after Dio died, he turned into that. And you have to start thinking, did that happen to anybody else? Or is, Mr. Nihimura the only one that this happened to? And then, like, he can't die. So he just kind of lives as that thing. Mrs. Robinson. Interesting. Interesting character. Does he have a stand? I don't think he has a stand. I think he's just a weirdo. Abdal. I didn't grow attached to Abdal like some people did. I'll put him in B. I know some people who like cried really hard the first time he died and then cried even more the second time he died. But I kind of felt indifferent, and I feel like I would have been fine if he died and then stayed dead during the whole horse fight. So yeah, maybe it's in B. In Duel. I like the Geb fight. I like that it's like the first fight we see Iggy in. I also like that he's blind. I think that is a very interesting little detail. Because as far as I know, we only have like one other blind character, which is John Golly A. And then I guess Daya, but she's only like partially blind. She's not blind like Idol is. Narancia. I like Narancia. Narancia's death didn't hit me as hard as like Abakio's death did because I already knew about Narancia's death because I accidentally spoiled myself. Which is my fault. I should have been careful Googling Narancia's name. It's like one of those instances where you Google a person's name and then says death next to it. That's how I spoiled myself. But he's fine. Aerosmith is fine. I like some of his fights are really interesting. I feel like Narancia is a great example of a character that is like street smart, but like not book smart. Like he knows his way around the town, but he doesn't quite know multiplication. But that's because he didn't go to school. I mean, he went to school for a little bit, but he didn't like get a formal learning. Anasui. Narciso Anasui. He's fine. I like the part in the Bohemian Rhapsody fight where he's like, where's Mickey Mouse? But apart from that, I don't really think very much about him. Again, he doesn't really show up until about halfway through. I think the first time we see his like stand-in action is during the Maximum Security arc. But yeah, he's fine. I think the fact that he keeps on trying to go after Jolene, and then Jolene wants like nothing to do with him is really, really weird. Nenya. This is the lady who has Empress. I like Empress, but I don't really remember anything about her. Nicholas Joestar. He serves as like a motivator for Johnny, so again, not really a character. Norisuke Higashikata. It is weird how like this minor, seemingly inconsequential character in part 7 ends up becoming such a huge deal later on. Cause like he shows up and he says, hey, my name's Norisuke Higashikata, and you're like, wow, that's weird, his last name is Higashikata. And then you read part 8 and you're like, oh, this guy's actually a huge deal. Speaking of huge deals, this is Norisuke Higashikata the 4th. I really, really like him, actually. I like that he's a dad, just protecting his family. That's why he kept the secret to the Rokaka plant. It's the Lokaka plant, Rokaka fruit, right? I don't know. I get them mixed up. But he's fine. King Nothing is also a really good stand. I know a lot of people don't like King Nothing, but I think he's fine. I think it's fine. It's fine stand. Nukasaku. Don't remember anything about him. Oingo! Oingo gets A. The Oingo Boingo episodes I've already said are some of my favorite ones. I like how it's implied that if he had just undone his transformation, the bomb wouldn't have gone off and hurt him. Yeah, these two working in tandem is really funny. Ojiro Sasame. He has, fun. I like how he comes back. Like, he's defeated, disappears for a good chunk of the story, and then comes back. He came back very recently. I'm not fully caught up on Jojo yet. Like, I'm mostly caught up, but I think I'm a few chapters behind. Oichosuke. Okuyasu. I like Okuyasu a lot. I didn't like him at first, but he kind of grew on me. I also like how he's the one, he's the one that, subverts the, Jobro has to die rule. Because, he's hurt by Killer Queen, and he should have died. But Okuyasu is just, built different, so he doesn't die. He's indestructible. Oye Komama. I really like that fight. Again, explosive stand. Really good. I can't remember if did he die or was he just defeated. I don't know, I can't remember, but I really, really like the Boku no Rhythm no Kitakure fight. Fugo. I like Fugo a lot. I like his relationship with Narancha. Is really nice. Not my favorite member of Bruno's gang. My favorite member is Bakio, obviously. But Fugo's fine. And, he did the right thing in his mind by leaving when Bruno decided to betray the boss, because he said, when he was kind of right when he said that by deciding to betray the boss, they basically all committed suicide, because it's true. They had. 3 of them died. But yeah, he's fine. Pericola. He's there for a little bit. Not really a character. Perla Pucci. Again. Not really a character. Pesci! I like Pesci a lot. I think he's so adorable. His whole dynamic with Prosciutto is really, really sweet. And I like how, he's kind of timid, kind of cowardly, and then, after Prosciutto dies, quote-unquote dies, because he's not actually dead at that point, he gets, really, really serious, and it's really scary. So, yeah, Pesci's great. I like the Beach Boy and Grateful Dead fight is another one of my favorite fights. It's up there. Pet Shop. Man, is Pet Shop horrifying. Put him in B. Pet Shop, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Pet Shop is one of the first, animal stand users we get to see. Not animal. The ice users, because then we have Gyachio later, but I think, Pet Shop is, the first one. Not my favorite. He gets to be in B. Poco Loco. I like Poco Loco a lot. I think it's interesting that, we kind of see him throughout the story, and how, bad things happen to him, but because of his luck, whether that be because of his stand or not, nothing bad happens to him, so he ends up winning. I also think it's interesting that his stand is the first one we see in the series. It's not even Johnny's stand, it's Heya, it's Poco Loco. So yeah, he's fine. I like Poco Loco a lot. Poco, child character, doesn't really do a lot. I know he's a big deal in that middle of the story, but not really done nothing. Popo. Popo's funny to me. Just how he lives in a prison cell, gets food and stuff delivered to him, gets kind of commands everybody from the jail cell, and then Giorno kills him. I also like that it's implied that a skinny Popo existed at some point. That's almost like a cursed thought right there. Poor Tom. So, I like Ozone Baby. And I like poor Tom. And it took me longer than I would care to admit to realize that poor Tom's clothes are, like, drawn on him with a marker. Like, he's not wearing a shirt. The tie and collar and wristwatch and stuff is just drawn on him. Also, what is his hair? Still not getting the hair. Like, is it a hair? Is it a toupee? Is it a hat? I really don't know. It looks weird, though. It's one of the weirder hairstyles they have at JoJo's. Which is saying a lot, because there's a lot of weird ones. The pork pie hat kid. But it be. He's funny. I really, really like the wire fight. It's wonderful. I like how weird he is. Prosciutto. I had to put him with Pesci. Really like him. I also like how, because, you know, in the anime, you don't see, you see Prosciutto's face from the beginning, but in the manga, he's not revealed until after he turns into the old man. Which I really wish they would have kept that in the anime, but I guess they couldn't have, like, executed it in the same way. But he's fine. I like Grateful Dead. I like how Grateful Dead is, like, the opposite of Alessi. How, like, you know, because Alessi makes people younger. Grateful Dead ages people. And yeah, he's fine. Rai. Would it be weird of me to put Rai in S tier? Because I'm going to put him in S tier. Rai's great. He is definitely my favorite JoJolian character. I like how his character introduction, how he, like, hijacks a bus. And then he, like, lives in a ski lift. And, like, in the middle of the villain fight, he makes Yasuho and Josuke a snack. And then he's like, hey, Josuke, I'm going to test your loyalty to me. And then he just pushes Yasuho off of the ski lift. His stand is really cool, too. He also reminds me of how much I love Snoop Dogg. Because I do, because his stand is named after a Snoop Dogg album. And I also, like, he's so chill. Like, when Brainstorm, which is Urban Gorilla stand, when Brainstorm infects him, he, like, nonchalantly, like, without hesitation, just cuts off 4 of his fingers. Anyway, Rai's great. Raimi. She's nice. I like the fact that she's a ghost. I think the fact that she's a ghost is very interesting. I also like her overall involvement in the Kira story. How, like, she can't have peace until Kira, you know, dies. So she kind of lives as a ghost. I think that's interesting. And as far as I know, although I could be wrong, I think she is the only ghost character. Again, I could be wrong, but I think that's true. Rikio. I like Rikio more than I like any of Theo's other kids, and I really don't know why I do. I just do. He's fine. I like how he's kind of cowardly, but he gets, like, this sudden confidence boost during, his fight with Hermes. And I also like he's the one who drops the bomb that Weather is Poochie's brother. I think that's very interesting. Am I still recording? Yeah, I'm still recording, okay. Ringo Rodigan. I like how Ringo is, he's a minor antagonist, but he gets fully fleshed out backstory. But I don't like him enough to put him in A, so I'll leave him in B. Is it Gyro that defeats him? I think it is. Risotto Nero. I love Risotto. I like him in his fight against Doppio. He has this really nasty fight against Doppio. And, like, that fight almost made me vomit the first time I saw it, and I'm not gonna lie. It's so disgusting. Metallica is a disgusting stand. But it's great. So yeah, Risotto gets A. I don't like him as much as I like Doppio or anybody else, but yeah, he's fine. Speedwagon! Speedwagon was my first Jojo love. I love Speedwagon so much. Like him in part 1, like him in part 2. And I like how, even after his death, the Speedwagon Foundation still, like, helps, Jonathan's family. Like, he devoted his entire life and after that to helping, like, a stranger that he met. That's dedication and respect. And also, as far as I know, in the new universe, with Steele Dan and Jojo, there's no Speedwagon counterpart. There are a few characters that you can argue are Speedwagon, but none of them have been confirmed to be Speedwagon. So Speedwagon's gone. No more Speedwagon as far as we know. Rohan. One of my friends who's really into JoJo's doesn't like Rohan. So when I read, when I watched Diamonds Unbreakable, they were like, oh, wait till you get to Rohan. Rohan sucks. Which I really don't know why you wouldn't like Rohan. I like Rohan. Rohan's awesome. I like how he dies, quote unquote, dies during Bites the Dust because, he doesn't really die. I mean, if Kira had done the time loop after Rohan died, then he would have been dead. But I cried when he, quote unquote, died because I really thought he was dead. But he wasn't. He's fine. Romeo. We only ever really see him at the very beginning and the very end. But I think it's nice that he kind of seemed to have turned over a new leaf and helped Jolene at the end. Even though, like, Hermes attacks him with Kiss anyway. Roses. This is Susie Q's butler. Don't remember anything about him. Rubber Soul. I like the Yellow Temperance fight. Put him in B. Yeah, he's cool. He's funny to me. I like when he impersonates Kakyoin. It's, great. Stroheim. I like that he's a cyborg, but that's pretty much it. Ryohei, this is Josuke's grandpa. He's fine. I did feel bad when he died, when Aqua Necklace killed him. I felt bad for Josuke and Tomoko. But, not really a point. Sale. I really like Sale. I like the Kraftwerk fight. I also think it's really interesting how he has a bigger part in Purple Haze Feedback. How he's like the enemy of one of the people from Purple Haze Feedback. I forgot who. I've read Purple Haze Feedback. It's just been a while. Soundman. Fine. I like that he's the first character we see in Still All Run. And I really thought that he was going to have a bigger part than he did. But because he didn't, I gotta put him in C. Santana. The scene where Joseph is fighting him is really funny. But I don't like him enough to put him in B, so I'll put him in... Well, yeah, I'll put him in C. He's fine. Scarlett Valentine. I think the fact that she has a crush on Lucy is really funny. Was she killed by Tubular Bells? I think she was. I can't remember. Put her in C. Scalipi. I like this guy a lot. I like his whole philosophy on death and fate and everything like that. And how, like, his stand kind of predicts future events because it turns into people who would die soon. Put him in B. Seko. I like Seko. I like him better than Chokawada. Or I guess I'll put him with Chokawada. I put him in B. They're fine. He's very creepy. I like his fight against Bruno. Actually, I'll put him in A, just because I like his fight with Bruno a whole lot. That fight's another one of my favorite fights. Shigechi. I like Shigechi a lot. I know not a lot of people like Shigechi, but I like him a lot. He is annoying at first, but I did feel sad when he died, especially because, and like, his death is the one that like kicks off the whole finding Kira thing. Because like, if so the way I see it is that Kira was dead as soon as he killed Shigechi. Because Shigechi gave them a key point to starting to find Kira. Shinobu. I like Shinobu. I'll probably put her. Well, I don't want to put her in A because she's not really there. I'll put her in B. Shinobu's fine. I like how she starts falling for Kira, and then Kira dies, and then she has to be left to wonder, oh, what happened to my husband? Why isn't he there? And Hiyato can like never tell her what happened because there's no way that she would believe it. Smokey. I wish we saw Smokey outside of part 2. Even though he wasn't really relevant at that point because he only showed up at the very beginning and then the very end of part 2. But he's fine. Sorbet and Gelato. Don't really know much about these two. Put him in D. Sports Max. I thoroughly enjoyed the Limp Bizkit fight, and I like Sports Max. I think it's really funny how Hermes has him cornered and is about to kill him, and Hermes is just like, you're gonna pay for killing my sister, and then Sports Max is like, I don't even know who you are. It's great. And then, like, when he comes back as a zombie, he doesn't know that he's a zombie at first, but then he realizes, and he's, like, unstoppable at that point. Squallow. I'll put him in C. I don't really think a whole lot about Squallow. I like Clash. Clash is a good stand. I'll move him up to B. Yeah, he's fine. Don't really have much to say. Steely Dan. I really like Steely Dan. I like in the fight, he's like taunting Jotaro, and Jotaro can't really do anything to him because if he attacks Steely Dan, he also attacks Joseph, which he doesn't want to do. So he's like trying to get Jotaro to hurt him, and Jotaro can't. Steven Steele. I like Steven. I don't know if I want to put him on the same tier as Lucy because he's not there for very long, but I'll put him in B. I like how he saved Lucy, and then like Lucy is like, I'll be a good wife to you, and then Steven's like, but that's not what I want from you. They're like lifetime companions almost. Straight Zoo. I like how he comes back in part 2 and he's like a vampire, and then he fights Joseph, and then dies. But I don't really think a whole lot about him. I'll put him in C. Sugar Mountain. I really, really like that arc. I'll put her in B. I like how she's this little girl. Suzy Q. I thoroughly love Suzy Q. And one of the only things I remember about part 2 was her and Joseph getting married, which is perfect. Because they're like made for each other. It's great. Suzuyo Hirose. This is Yasuho's mother. Not really a character. Tamaki Damo. I hate Tamaki Damo. Even though I love Vitamin C as a stand, I don't like Tamaki Damo. He gets put in D. I hate when he did to Hato. I hate how he took advantage of Hato's trust to gain access to the family. Yeah, I just don't like it at all. Tamami Kobayashi. I'll put him in B. I really, really like him. I like the lock. It's very interesting. His stand is interesting. I like how at the end of the fight, he's basically like asking Koichi for forgiveness, which proves that he's like a huge coward. This is the cat that became Stray Cat. This cat's name is Tama. I like Stray Cat. So I'll put the cat in A. This A tier is pretty crowded, but I'm not making a new tier. We're almost done. Tarkus. Don't remember anything about Tarkus. Darby. This is the other Darby. This is Terrence Darby. He's fine. I don't like his battle as much as I like Daniel Darby's battle. But he's good. They're both good. Teranosuke Miyamoto. I really like Enigma, and I really wish he wasn't killed. Or, he wasn't killed. He got turned into a book. I really wish he didn't get turned into a book, because he would have been nice to have around. I love how he looks for your fear tell and then hits you, because your fear tell is something you do unintentionally most of the time. So that makes you, like, really susceptible to be caught. The green baby. What do I say about a green baby? I'll put him in C. I don't know. It's just something there. I don't really get the point of the green baby. Is the green baby Sea Moon? Or is Sea Moon something else? Because they look a lot alike. But I don't know. Thunder McQueen. I thoroughly enjoy the Highway to Hell fight, and I really like Thunder McQueen. He is adorable to me. I don't know why. I think it's his fuzzy pants. Or the fact that he's in jail for something that isn't really his fault, so I kind of just wanted to hug him. He seems so miserable. Tiziano. Where did I put Swallow up here? I may put him at the same spot. Talking Head is a good stand. I don't know what anybody says. It's just that you have to attack somebody who's stupid. I think the reason that fight was going as long as it did was because they attacked Narancha, who is not the smartest of the group. So it, like, takes him a little bit to figure out what's going on. But, he's fine. Don't like him enough to put him in A, so I'll put him in B. Tomoko. I really like Tomoko. She's a good mom. I also like the part at the very end, she, like, calls Josuke a bastard, because she's not wrong. She's not wrong. Remember, kids, it's not an insult if it's true. That is bad advice. Don't listen to what I just said. Tonio. I like Tonio, too. I really wish we saw more of him because his stand is really great. Like, Pearl Jam is a stand that I would like to have around. Antonio's just interesting. Tonpetty. Don't remember anything about him. Toru. I do believe that Toru is the main villain of Jojo, and he has to be. Because I don't think it's Jobin. And I don't think it's Mitsuba, either. Yeah, he's an A. Leave it to Araki to take a song like Wonder of You and make it so horrifying. Because, like, before I read JoJo's, Wonder of You is like a song I would sing to, like, serenade somebody. And now it seems like a song that you would play as the world is ending. God, I don't know. I don't like how this arc is going currently. Things are looking really bad. Hazamada. I like Hazamada. Even though he's kind of a disgusting person, he's thoroughly entertaining to me, and I don't know why. I really wish we had seen more of him. Toyohiro. So you want to hear my weird theory? Because you know how, people in Part 8 are, like, alternate universe counterparts of people in Part 4. I like to think Rai and Toyohiro are, like, counterparts of each other, because Toyohiro lives in a pylon, and Rai lives in a ski lift. Although Rai's ski lift house is infinitely cooler than Toyohiro's pylon. Sorry, Toyohiro. Still love you, though. Trish. Not my favorite member of Bruno's gang, But she's fine. I'll put her in B. I didn't like her very much at the beginning when we first met her, when she's kind of snooty and spoiled. But I like how she becomes more confident. And then I like her reactions when her and Mista swap bodies. I think that is hilarious. Tsurugi. I love Tsurugi. Paper Moon King is a really good stand. I also like his relationship with Yasuho. I think Tsurugi is my favorite child character. I may like Emporio a little bit more, but just a little bit more. Ungalo. I like Ungalo. Ungalo's cool. You guys are just mean. I think my lineup for Dio's children would have to be Rikio, then Ungalo, then Giorno, and then like Donatello's at the bottom. So yeah, he's fine. I like Bohemian Rhapsody. I thoroughly enjoy that fight. And God, I really hope that announcement on April 4th is Stone Ocean. Because I want to see the Bohemian Rhapsody fight. That's going to be awesome. So many fights in Stone Ocean are going to be great. And I really hope it gets animated. Urban Gorilla. This guy's freaky. I like the part where Rai turns his arm into a crossbow and then like fires a fork at Urban Gorilla. It's nice to know that we're keeping the stabbing people in the face with a fork tradition alive in part 8. But he's fine. He's very, very, very creepy to me. Vanilla Ice. I like Vanilla Ice. I will say one of my favorite pictures, screenshots from the anime is that scene where he's like inside of his stand and he's just like looming in the shadows. He's very creepy. He's a very creepy character. And he's one of those characters, along with the Bakio, that I think that their color palette works better in the manga than it does in the anime than it does in the manga. I don't really like this like bluish purple hair look. I like him with brown hair like he does in the anime. Viviano Westwood. He has Planet Waves, doesn't he? I don't remember anything about him. Wamu. I like Wamu. I like how respectful he is. How like he didn't bother, like he didn't stick around Caesar's corpse, or like he didn't let any of the other vampires kill Joseph after he defeated him. So he does an A. This is the guy who sold Dio the poison that he used to poison George. I don't remember anything about him. Weather Report. Weather Report is my favorite Stone Ocean character. I like how he's kind of mysterious, like we don't know a whole lot about him. He just kind of is there, and then like at the end when he gets his memories back, he does like a complete 180 from his personality, and he's totally different. Which is scary, actually. I was also really upset when he died. I just hated that so much. So yeah, Weather gets S. Favorite Stone Ocean character. Really hope Stone Ocean gets animated because I want to see him animated. Wicked People. I think it's interesting that we see another Steel Ball user besides Gyro. But apart from that, I don't really think a whole lot about Wicked People. I don't even remember a whole lot about him. I know he was like with Magenta for a really long time. But other than that, I don't really think a whole lot about him. Zeppeli. Baron Zeppeli. I think Baron Zeppeli has to be my second favorite Zeppeli. I think my favorite Zeppelis in order are Gyro, and then Will, and then Caesar. It's great. I like how the first thing he does is like jab Jonathan in the stomach with his pinky to heal him. And he's just funny. He's kind of comedic. Wired Beck. Don't remember anything about him. Wu Tomaki. He gets props for his stand being a reference to the one Steely Dan song that I actually know. And I like how he brags that he's never failed anything or never lost anything. It's great. Are you with me, Dr. Wu? Are you really just a shadow of the man? Yasuho. I like Yasuho a lot. I like Paisley Park, the song and the stand. Goes in A. Her relationship with Gappy is really sweet. I don't know. She's just adorable to me. She's on the running to be one of my favorite JoJo characters, but I don't like her as much as I like all these characters that are in S tier. So she goes in A. There's a lot of characters in A. I like a lot of characters. Yoshihiro Kira. Don't really think much about him. I like how he's the one who's like stabbing everybody with the stand arrow at the end. Like first it was Keicho, and then it was Akira, and then it was Yoshihiro was doing it for a little while. Yoshikage Kira, this is the one from Jojo. I'll put him in A. I like him. I like how he's a doctor. And I like how, despite having Killer Queen and being Yoshikage Kira, he's not a villain like the other one is. Which is interesting. I also like the whole fusing with Josefumi to make Gappy thing is very interesting. Yoshikage Kira from Diamond is Unbreakable. He's a great villain. Not my favorite villain. I feel like he's kind of wedged. Like, in my list of villains, he's, like, wedged between Diavolo and Pucci. It's like Funny Valentine, then Diavolo, then Pucci, then Dio, and then Funny Valentine, then Diavolo, then Kira, then Pucci, and then Cars is at the very bottom, and then Dio is between Pucci and Cars. So yeah, I like Kira. I like both Kiras. Yotsuyu Yagiyama. I am a rock. I am an island. He's fine. I like his stand. But he doesn't really have very much of a personality. He's just a villain. Put him in B. Yukiko. I like Yukiko a lot. She kind of grew on me after a little while. She's really funny. I like how obsessive he is. I also think I read somewhere that she was the first yandere character created, which I kind of believe because JoJo's is so old. But if I'm wrong, correct me. But I think that is true. Yuya's funny. I don't know. I'll put him in B. I don't know if I like him enough to put him in A. He's fine. I like how he plays a big role in the fight against Toranosuke. And how, like, he has a really good sense of smell, but I don't know if that has anything to do with his stand. He may just be like that. I don't know. You never know. JoJo's has a lot of weird characters. It's almost like this is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Alright, last person. ZZ. He's funny. I'll put him in C. I don't like him enough to put him any higher than C. I like the Wheel of Fortune fight. I like how Josuke and Kakyoin, not Josuke, Jotaro and Kakyoin kind of tie him to a rock. That's just so funny. And I do believe that's everything. Keep in mind, I don't actually hate any. Well, I hate one character. I hate Tamaki Damo. But down here, you either have no relevance to the plot, or I forgot who you are. So yeah, I believe that's it. So everybody, thanks for watching. If you like it, subscribe. Leave a comment. I want to hear your opinion on some of these characters. And And if you like JoJo content, subscribe, because this is probably going to be a JoJo character. JoJo channel, sorry. So yeah.